Hey guys, so we're going to take this pile of parts here and put it together and have this. Decided to do something completely different for the channel. Well, not just for the channel, it's something I've been wanting to do for a long time, is mill some lumber or slabs for projects and stuff. And so this pile of parts is going to be a chainsaw sawmill attachment. This will go up to 24-inch bars. We'll be using an 18-inch, and one of the reviews said something about it not working right with a saw less than like 20 inches, and may have to maybe modify something to make it work better or something. We'll just have to see. There'll be a link in the description to where this came from. I'm not an affiliate or anything, it's just something I want to share with you. Anyway, let's get started on assembly, then we'll try it out on some cherry wood. Okay guys, these instructions are not the best at all. It gives you something to go by, but not much more than that. But I did manage to get it together. It took me about almost a half hour to get it all together. That's not including the chainsaw mounted on there, obviously, so that's going to be a little bit more time. I don't have everything tight yet because I got to set it up for my saw. So a little tip, I went and took all the nuts back off and put lock washers on here because I figured all the vibration it's going to come loose. And I put washers on here to help try to keep from splitting the plastic. I didn't put lock washers on the clamp bolts. I don't know if this is going to work with the saw I got in order to cut the log that I'm planning on cutting, because the maximum capacity of this is with a 32-inch bar on a chainsaw, and most I have is an 18. So the cutting capacity is probably only going to be like 14 to 15-inch capacity of a log, and a log I got is pretty sure it's bigger than that. So we'll just have to figure out what we're going to do. Okay, so since my saw is only an 18-inch, we're probably only going to have like between a 14 and 16-inch actual capacity of this. So I was thinking if I could mill the sides off of it, then I could just cut the boards off of it. So I ordered this. This is the other type of chainsaw sawmill for doing like vertical cuts, whereas this one does horizontal, this one does vertical. And it clamps one to the bar right here. So we'll use this at first, and this rides along a board of whatever length you have, which will be a 2x6 in this case, and gives you a perfectly true vertical cut. So hopefully that'll help out a lot. So, alright, so we're back in the old garage, you see, and we got the saw hooked on here. It's not as easy as it looks to put one in here. You see, it just kind of clamps it into each side right here. Very hard to keep it centered. It's just roughly set. It's not even actually been measured. And we got the other one set up on the little saw, which may have to be used on this saw, depending on how deep of a cut we need. Alright guys, so here's the log that we're going to be attempting to mill. Hopefully it turns out good. I drug it over here with the little diesel tractor. Started tearing up the ground, so I stopped right here. Good enough, good place in the shade. Here's the other log that's, I started cutting it here. So this one may be used for just firewood. Gotta get all this poison ivy off of it. It's been coming off pretty easy. But yeah, I'm gonna get ready to start setting things up. It's not gonna be a step-by-step one here. But the tree shows no signs of rot. It was still alive when it came down. Storm brought it down. And it's solid all the way through, so hopefully we can get at least a few good pieces out of it. There's the rings, if anybody wants to pause the video and try to count them. Okay guys, I got the board mounted down about the best I can, and it's offset closer to this side, so I'm trying to saw off this side, and we'll have to move the board and do the other side. Then we can get it right in the center and start milling slabs off of it. Alright guys, so now you can kind of see what this piece is going to look like. Got the pretty rough cut, not the best. This is just going to be the edge of the board. This is the piece that came off. See, it's got a real nice wood grain to it. And I could get some out of this, but I just don't have a way to mill it. So this will be used as firewood. So now this is going to go to waste. Cherry's a decent firewood too. I saved a lot of this tree for firewood. I thought I would try to do this just to get some wood and maybe build a guitar or something out of it at some point. Alright, so let's get it set up for the other side. We got to cut exactly the same over here, then I can start slabbing it. Okay, so here's the piece that came off of this side. It wasn't as much as the other side because I got kind of off center, took too much off this side. So now at the widest point it's about 12 and a half. So now we're ready to start milling it sideways, the horizontal. So I'm going to move the board over to the center, then start milling it down at approximately 2 to 2 1/4 inch slabs. That way I got enough to work with to get it down to 1 3/4 after it's planed. Okay, so I got this set up the best I could. It's perfectly square on that end. It gets off just a little bit on this way, on this side. So it's just going to take a little bit more edging to do to get it to turn out right. So hopefully this will work. I got to saw off these shims a little bit to keep from interfering. You see the board's not exactly spaced evenly, but it'll work just fine. So I'm going to touch this chain up on the saw just a little bit. It's not too dull. And then go ahead and get it mounted on the other horizontal sawmill, and we'll see what happens. We'll put you on time lapse for that too. Alright, let's see what kind of cut we got on this. Get a very rough cut on this first piece. I put a new chain on the saw. It didn't seem like it helped any. Alright, so let's flip it and see what we got. Looks good, except for a rotten spot. Okay, so here's this piece. Now you're starting to get the other type of grain marks from the quarter sawn, because it's coming from the middle part of the log. Still good wood grain, but it's not that grain that everybody likes for like a, you know, like what you see on something. Still very good wood though. Alright guys, I don't know if I forgot to hit the record button or something happened on the camera, but I missed the last two cuts here, but get really good grain on these. So that's pretty much all I'm going to get out of it. Might be able to get like one or two more partial cuts, but it's getting thin here on the end, so that's, we got 4 slabs out of it, so it's going to be more than enough to do what I was planning on doing. So alright guys, so this is the pieces we got out of it. Kind of a rough cut, got little pieces of pipe spaced it out here. Let it sit for a while, dry out some. We'll go ahead and do a moisture reading on it just so we can get an idea where we're at. I don't know exactly where this wood would fall in on this, so we're just going to use it in the middle setting. It's not much difference on it. So that's showing 19, but I was getting higher readings than that. Anyway, here's the highest 41. That's right on the edge. So I'm going to take a couple readings and write on the side here what each log's showing. That way we can have a reference and look at it here in a few weeks. Alright, so the top one's reading 27. I put the A on there because I'm just using A setting on the moisture meter. 49 on the center, which is part of the center of the tree. And down here we got 31 at the bottom. So 31 to 49 is about what we're picking up on this. Check it here in a few weeks. So it's been 2 weeks and I think we got major problems because everything's splitting, as you can see, like bad. That wasn't like this before. Like it's all the way through splitting. And this garage gets super hot in the summer months and it's been closed up. No air circulating. So it's cracked on this side too. So hopefully we can salvage enough to build at least one guitar body out of. I'll be somewhat happy for that. I was hoping to get 2 or 3 at least, but it is what it is. There's one of the slabs that we cut off this a bit in here too, and it's getting cracks in it as well. So let me get some moisture readings and we'll see what we're looking at. And a positive view of this, the wood that I'm going to be using out of this tree for firewood should split pretty easy and dry out easy. So hopefully that'll be the advantage of the situation. Hopefully we can get enough to build at least one guitar out of it. I read online that you're supposed to use some type of wax or sealer on it, which I never even thought about because I figured that would hold moisture in it, not let it dry out. I guess it just dried out too fast. So the top piece was reading 27. Now it's reading approximately 7. I checked it in several different spots. I'm just checking on the end. We'll get a couple readings off the top too on the flat. The middle piece was at 49. Now it's at 9. The bottom piece was 31. Now it's reading around 10. So it obviously dried out closer at the top than it did at the bottom, which is not surprising because it's closer to the ceiling. There's no insulation in this garage, so it gets pretty warm in here. So let's take a piece off the top and just kind of look at it. So the side that was facing up actually don't look too bad on the top. However, you can see like right here where this split is, and it's coming all the way through. I'm afraid if it dries much more, it's going to keep on going. There's some cracks over here, which I kind of understand why I would do it right here, where this part was semi-rotten, just in that one spot of the tree. So let's look at a couple more pieces. I also stuck it in the middle. It's reading about 9.9 what I was coming up with. There's the second piece from the top. I thought this was a big split in here. It's part from where a chainsaw got in there. But I mean, I was originally wanting to do a guitar body made with 2 pieces, but we may have to be 3 or 4 in order to make it work. So we're gonna try to cut some of this down on a table saw and get a true edge on it the best we can, and just hope for the best, guys. Hopefully we can get at least one out of it. I'm really surprised it cracked like this across the grain. Now you would think it would be going with the grain, but that's kind of unusual. I got a little tiny piece here. It broke off of one of them. I kind of just want to see how it would burn, just to see how easy it will light. I mean, it takes off like that. You know that wood's getting pretty dry. There's no smoke coming off of that either. So, but while we're waiting for it to finish drying anymore, if it will, and make sure it's not going to crack anymore, I do want to talk about the pros and cons of using a chainsaw sawmill setup, and whether or not if it's recommended or not. And honestly, it depends on what you're going to do and how much you're going to do. Like, obviously I got a very rough finish using a standard crosscut chain. If I had used a ripping chain, it would have given me a much smoother cut and a faster cut too, more than likely. This is a pretty hard wood. But honestly, unless you're making rough cut boards to build a shed or something out of, you really want a bandsaw type sawmill or like a circular blade type saw. I don't particularly recommend this unless you're just doing it like a one-time thing, kind of like what I'm doing here, which, I mean, I do plan on milling more wood eventually, and I will build a bandsaw sawmill or buy one, but for right now I thought this would be the cheapest way, since we just had a tree fall and I was trying to take advantage of that situation using the wood out of it. So, with that being said, it's not the best method, and you're not going to get the best finish, and you're going to have to cut it real thick and plane it down, and also have to allow for the thickness of the chain. You're wasting more wood than you would be with a bandsaw type. So not recommended, and you also have to have a very huge saw to get the most benefit out of that sawmill guide. And so not the best method, not the worst, but I mean it works. It's just going to take more work to get it to a better finish. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and end the video right here. I did let it dry out for another month or 2. It's been about 3 or 4 months since I recorded this video, but I just kind of wanted to put it up before winter because it was recorded in the summer. But the wood stayed about the same moisture content as you've seen in the last measurement, and it didn't really split much more. And I don't think the splitting is going to be an issue because it's mainly right on the ends. And like I said, I was planning on making the guitar bodies 2 pieces with a seam right down the middle, so it may have to be changed to a 3-piece or maybe a 4. So it's not that big a deal, but it's not what I originally planned, but it'll be fine. So we'll go ahead and end this video. It's a little longer than I was planning on, so we'll try to get back on some more small engine stuff here soon. I know it's been kind of different types of videos going up this summer, so stay tuned for the regular content. I got a 8-horse Briggs I want to rebuild, probably another month or 2 before I get started on that, because it has a couple other issues. But yeah, just stay tuned for some more small engine content, some electrical stuff, and all kinds of stuff coming up. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you on the next video.